Membership means more with American Express Business Gold. Earn 4 times membership rewards points in your top 2 eligible spending categories every month, including eligible U.S. advertising purchases and select media, and U.S. purchases at restaurants, including takeout and delivery. What are you waiting for? Get the card that flexes with your spending every month. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold Card. Built for business by American Express.
This Steve Jones Show podcast is now loading. The Steve Jones Show podcast is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Brewers Outlet, Sunbury Motor Company, and Purdy Insurance. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
And this half hour brought to you by Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Auto, home, light, business, boat, motorcycle, RV. They make sure you're fully insured and do everything they can to save you money. It is all at Purdy Insurance. Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Aaron Bracy joins us. He's going to the Final Four. He's going to San Antonio. I'm going to San Antonio in about 5 weeks, but that's to see my daughter and grandchildren and son-in-law, but that's a different story. He's going for basketball.
Yeah, hey, Steve. Can't wait. It's going to be a great weekend.
4-1s. We always do analysis as if it's some long-term deal. Every tournament to me is an entity unto itself. It just turns out these 4-1s are the ones that won and got there. What have you seen competitively in terms of the level of competition in this tournament to this point?
I think the competition has been good overall. I think these 4 teams clearly have been better than everybody. Obviously, they're here, but just like watching yesterday, like you've seen Michigan State a bunch, Steve, and you don't see teams like kind of out physical Michigan State teams.
Right.
And the way Auburn took it to Michigan State, they were like clearly better physically, athletically, and you don't see that too often with teams from the Big Ten, especially at this level. And Michigan State gave it their all. Obviously, their effort, that early 17-0 run was too much to overcome. But these 4 teams are just, I mean, you have with Houston, the number 1 defensive team, Duke, the number 1 offensive team. These are the top 4 KenPom teams. They've just been head and shoulders above everybody.
Well, but I think the key is, like, let's take Duke, for example. I've always told people, you know, when we talk about close games, it's important to win close games, but the bottom line is the really, really good teams aren't in close games. Duke has more wins of 20 points or better than anybody in the country this season, including this weekend. They won both games by better than 20. What do you think about that statement? The really good teams aren't in close games.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I mean, look at their tournament, 93-49, 89-66, 100-93, 85-65. I mean, this is a stacked Duke team. Obviously, everyone knows Cooper Flagg, likely number 1 overall pick, but this Duke team is deep offensively. They've got Con Canupel, another lottery pick, another first-round pick with the big guy from Sudan, a couple second-rounders. I do think that they're going to be in a close game on Saturday night, though, Steve. I don't think Houston is by any means a walkover defensively.
Oh, no.
They can hold their own, obviously, with anyone in the country. Duke has not played anyone as good defensively as Houston all season. And Houston has some guys offensively that can score the ball, especially from three-point range, which I think in the tournament is really important, obviously with the way today's game is played. But I think this is going to be a close game. I don't think this is going to be a walkover like Duke's had, as you mentioned, most of the season and in this tournament specifically.
Yeah, Houston's the best defensive team in the country. But I will say this, the game against Tennessee set the game back 40 years. It just was no. I mean, from an entertainment point of view, that was a horrible basketball game.
That was a rock fight. 15 points in the first half. Not the most pleasing for the eye unless you love defense. But I think we're going to see a more aesthetically pleasing game on Saturday night.
Jeez, I hope so. because here's what Duke has. First of all, Duke is actually a very good defensive team. Aaron, what strikes me is that when you look at their team, they have no starter below 6'5". What does their length mean to how Duke plays defense?
Yeah, that's going to be a problem, especially when you look at Houston's backcourt. Their guys are 6'1", 6'3", 6'4". So, to your point, Duke is going to have a huge advantage defensively on the perimeter. Houston's three-point shooters are good. L.J. Cryer, 42%. Manuel Sharp, 42%. Miles Uzan, 45%. Yep. But those guys are all 6'4" or shorter, and they're going to have to figure out ways to get their shots off in a way they haven't seen this kind of length, obviously, in the tournament. But Houston's won 17 games in a row. They're 34-4, 19-1 in the Big 12. They've won everywhere over everyone. So they've been able to figure it out. I think they're going to have a plan. But certainly I think Duke is the on-paper favorite, not only in this game, but to win the tournament.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, to win, yeah, they would be the favorite to win the tournament. Here's another one that's interesting. The four coaches. Bruce Pearl, show cause penalty. Kelvin Sampson, show cause penalty, banished. Say Pearl was banished to media, which you and I both know is the lowest form of life. All right. Okay, Sampson was banished to the NBA. Golden, somebody on the face of the earth has to explain how he got through December. And then there's Shire, whose name rhymes with choir because he's the choir guy of the group. This is quite a coaching group that we have here.
Yeah, I mean, four stars of the profession. Obviously, you mentioned some of the things with Pearl and Sampson, but these are four of the best coaches in college basketball, and they also have some relationships. Todd Golden kind of got his start on Bruce Pearl's staff for 2 years. Going to be a really interesting matchup. But, yeah, coaching behemoths. And one of the things that I find really interesting, Steve, is John Shire following in Mike Krzyzewski's footsteps and kind of continuing what he has done there, which we've seen at Villanova with Kyle Neptune and Jay Wright. Like, you'd think that would be an easy thing to do. Obviously, Duke has been high pedigree. This is their 18th Final Four, 5 national championships. But it's not always easy to continue the legacy of someone. And to see what John Shire's done, like, I find that really impressive, personally.
Well, and I've always told people along the way that it's better to be the guy after the next guy.
Yeah.
Right? And Shire's, that's not how it's worked out. He's been the next guy and has done an incredible job with it. The other game is quite the matchup as well, because we are guaranteed an SEC finalist in all this. Florida's interesting. What I find interesting is that Clayton's playing for Pitino at Iona. He does not go to St. John's. He goes to Florida. I think that's an interesting pathway to me.
Yeah, I mean, he was dominant in the MAC, and so I don't know the backstory of why he did not go to St. John's. Yeah. You would think he would have wanted him there, but he's been amazing in this tournament. He's really helping his draft stock. Obviously, he's a first-round pick, but he's moving up draft boards, particularly the way he's shooting the three-pointer this tournament, 45.3%, 30 points in their win over Texas Tech, and really some clutch plays down the stretch in that game. That was a really good game, and Auburn's going to have their hands full with Walter Clayton, and Florida has a lot of other guys offensively that can light it up. I think the big question right now with Auburn is the status of Broome and his injury yesterday. He was completely dominant against Michigan State, but when he wasn't in the lineup, at least me personally, I didn't think that they were as dominant. He's just head and shoulders above anyone Michigan State had, and I think same with Florida. And if healthy, he's going to be a problem for Florida. If he's banged up, I do see Florida advancing here.
Yeah, I'll say this. Janai Broom, and I can't say how I voted, but he's very high on my Wooden Award ballot. Okay. When you look at him, what do you see?
I see a dominant big man at the college level. Needs to develop his jumper. He shoots only 26.7% from the three-point range. Having said that, he hit both of them against Michigan State. Not a good free throw shooter, which is going to be a problem at end of games, 59.3%. But physically, he is just a man among boys at the college level. Michigan State had no answer for him. Extremely athletic. Footwork is tremendous. Shares the basketball, draws double teams. Really a good passer from the post. Really can do it all, except needs to develop, I think, the jumper. I think really to be effective, even more so at the next level, and the free throw shooting. But in this game, I don't think Florida has anyone that can stop him if healthy. He put up, what did he put up? 25 and 14 against Michigan State. I think he'll put up similar numbers against Florida. And I do think if he's healthy, and I think with Pettiford in the backcourt and some of the other guys they have, I think Auburn wins this game, but his health is going to be a big question mark heading into Saturday night.
What strikes me about Duke, and I was actually talking to a group yesterday, and when it was over, I said I was going home to watch, basketball. And I mentioned Cooper Flagg, and I said, every once in a while you get a guy like this where the coach is sitting there like going, will you please shoot the ball? Over here in the back, could you shoot the ball? Okay? Stop passing it. I want you to shoot. You got to beg the guy to do it. And when he does, he's phenomenal. Yeah,
and I think, too, I think there's something to be said about his upbringing in Maine and kind of a humble guy, team-first guy. Certainly not a me-first type player. And I think there was even something I saw on X where John Shire yelled at him to shoot or not to leave his feet, and he said, yes, sir, and it's just something that you don't see as much anymore. But I think to your point, at times, the best thing that you can do for your team is to be the selfish player and be the player that you are and take those shots. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your team is to put the game on your shoulders. And to your point, against Alabama the other night, he didn't really have it going. He did kind of get to 16 points, but it was some of the other guys that really were the stars of the show Saturday. But I think this Saturday, they're going to need a different Cooper Flagg against Houston. They're going to need the guy that is the consensus number one pick.
Yes.
And to your point, they're going to need him to, make it about him and not about the team, because that's what his team will need him to do.
Well, this is what I find interesting. People have talked about the lack of Cinderella in this tournament. Mm-hmm. And then you look at the TV ratings. Aaron, they're really good. They're surpassing numbers left and right. They're getting record numbers. Here's the reason why. If you look at past ratings, Cinderella's shelf life lasts the first weekend for the fans. It's kind of cool to talk about. But it gets to the Sweet 16, it's always the lowest rated game. Over and over and over again when Cinderella's in the game. Because it's been chalk and big names, people are watching because that's what they want to watch.
You're 100% right, Steve. The Cinderella story is what carries the first weekend. And I do think the NCAA tournament and the NCAA needs to be careful here not to lose that, because we did have McNeese State, but we did not have all the Power 5 conference had all 16 Sweet 16 teams. So we need to be a little careful, in my personal opinion, not to lose that. But to your point, from the second weekend on, that's when everyone wants to see the Kentuckys and the Dukes and the North Carolinas and the Kansases and the USCs or whomever it may be, UCLA. That's when you want to see the top teams. And this year, you're getting it. I mean, you're not getting just 4 number 1 seeds, Steve. You're getting the 4 best teams in college basketball. And arguably, these 4 teams are as good as any 4 teams. I don't know. You say, I mean, I know the UConn teams have been good, But,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, these four teams are outstanding in a way that we haven't seen in quite the same way, and partly because you've got, a lot of, fourth and fifth year guys. I mean, these guys, this is a different college basketball than we've seen in the past. Very, very experienced, very talented, guys who've been around, guys who can play, obviously. So these are just four outstanding teams. I think the ratings Saturday night are probably going to break all the records.
Yes, and plus it's on CBS and not TBS. Let's not forget that. That played a major role in last year's ratings. It was on TBS.
No doubt.
Just like when you see the Stanley Cup this year, and I say this with all due respect, the Stanley Cup will be lower this year no matter who's playing in it because it's on TNT as opposed to ESPN, ABC. It's just, it plays a role. And I agree with you. I think it's going to get ratings beyond words because of the combination. And here's the other one. Ken Pomeroy does his ratings, so the KenPom ratings. Mm-hmm. And it's great analytics. His ratings go back to 1996. On historical ratings, going all the way back to 96, these four teams are statistically in his top 10 since 96. Not just this year. Since 96. That tells you a lot.
Sure does.
My friend, great work as always. Love talking hoops with you. Have a great time in San Antonio, okay?
Absolutely, Steve. Anytime. Love talking to you guys, and really looking forward to Saturday night. Should be a great weekend. You
do great work, Aaron. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Half hour brought to you by our good friends at Purdy Insurance. Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is because it's Brewers Outlet time. The beverage supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
When car repairs get difficult.
Well, I just don't know.
Me neither.
We get good. Sunbury Motors. More than quality new and used cars, Sunbury Motors specializes in complicated auto repair diagnosis. They can handle intricate repairs and even complete auto body with service open Monday through Friday, 7 till 4. And Sunbury Motors has made simple repairs easy. Maintaining your vehicle is necessary. Finding the time to do it is difficult. Welcome to Sunbury Motors Quick Lane. Just walk in or call ahead. Relax in their remodeled waiting room with Wi-Fi, beverages, and snacks. While Sunbury Motors factory trained techs take care of your oil change, tire alignments, brakes, and inspections. Quick Lane, 6:30 to 6 Monday through Friday, Saturday 6:30 till 2. Sunbury Motors, Ford and Hyundai, North 4th Street, Sunbury. And Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. We take the out of auto repair.